Hi there, YouTubes. So, normally this video would be a knit and chat, but as you can see, this pup is very comfortable. I don't want to move her, so it's just going to be a chat. But you can get your knitting and chat and, knit while I chat, I guess. I want to chat about Patreon. I've had my Patreon account now for a while. I have a few patrons over there, not very many. I haven't done a ton with it yet. And part of that is because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. And I kind of want to talk that out a little bit. So I grew up really poor. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have any money. We were food stamp kids. We were free lunch program kids. And there were a lot of times that my friends would be doing something that I couldn't participate because we just couldn't afford it. I was the oldest child of 5 kids, and I always kind of felt like I had to be the mature one and just kind of accept that this was the way our life was. And because of this, although I didn't necessarily complain about it as verbally, I internalized a lot of jealousy and frustration with the situation, and it's always been a problem for me. And so when I approach Patreon, I have this mixed feeling of feeling like as a creator, I should be getting paid for my work. I should be getting paid for that labor. I put a lot of time and energy into a lot of my videos. Not this one necessarily. This one will be a quick one and done, but most of my YouTube videos, I put a lot of time and energy into them. I put a ton of time and energy into editing the podcast when those episodes come out, and maintaining my Instagram feeds and creating all the things that I create. And I feel like I deserve to be paid for that. However, I'm hesitant to approach the world of patron-only content because there are creators that I had followed in the past who, since Patreon, have kind of moved their work to Patreon, and I can't necessarily afford them anymore. And that feels really sad and yucky. So I'm torn. I'm in this place, which I feel like a lot of artists and creatives end up in this place. I'm torn and in this place where I need to make a living. I need to make enough of a living so that I can continue to create. But how do I do that without leaving people out? And I've always been a really big fan of the Amanda Palmer method, The Art of Asking. That book kind of changed my approach to a lot of things. And to this day, I take from her. For instance, a lot of times when somebody that I know and love asks me to create something for them, I will give them a base price of, if you were a stranger, this is what I would charge you. Now you pay me what you think it's worth. 9 times out of 10, they pay me more than what I would have charged this stranger because my loved ones love me. They want me to be able to create too, right? So it really works for me. The Art of Asking really works for me. Approaching my creativity in that way really works for me. And I guess I'm trying to figure out how to make that meld with the Patreon setup. I love what Patreon is doing. I think they're doing some really amazing things. I don't yet make enough to create content for YouTube, create podcast episodes, and then also create Patreon exclusive content. I just don't have enough time. I'm still, I'm making a very small amount of money off of my Etsy and my Patreons, or Patreon and Etsy's. Pluralized goes the other way. I have 2 Etsys, 1 Patreon. So, but I'm still making the majority of those funds. The majority of my funds that are coming in from Stitch and Witch are coming in through Etsy, which means that there's effort being put forth, right? And that takes time. And I don't have enough time to be creating Patreon exclusive content, but I still really value the Patreon model. and I'm trying to figure out where to go with what I'm doing over there. So my question for you, and the reason that I'm creating a video about this that I'm going to put out into the world, is what would you need to see out of my Patreon to bring you on board with it? The more people that sign on to the Patreon account, the more people that support me in that way, the more I can create across the board. Like the more podcast episodes I can put out, the more YouTube videos I can put out, the more items in my Etsy shop that I can put out. Like all this, it all kind of feeds into this one place, right? So having more people on Patreon means being able to create more overall. But I don't want people to be left out just because they can't afford it. I don't like that feeling. I'm not saying that other creatives shouldn't do that. I actually, like, I am a patron of quite a few different Patreon accounts. I absolutely think that creatives should do that. It's just not right for me and for what I want to do. This morning I interviewed Suzanne Cologne, and that podcast episode will be out in a few days. It's going to be a quick turnaround on this one just because of timing. But she and I were talking about, she feels very strongly that once you figure out the magic of knitting, as far as like the spirituality and what knitting can do for a person, the meditation that it can be, the healing power of knitting, that your job then is to teach it to others. And I strongly feel that. And I love to teach it to others. I hosted a class last year. I was considering hosting another one maybe over this winter, if people are interested. I definitely feel that that is the goal, is to share that. And that's something I really want to do. I just want a little feedback on how to go about that and where people are, where you all are, the people who subscribe to my YouTube channel, the people who follow my Instagram, the people who are on my Facebook friends list. Like, where are you as far as my content goes? What do you want to see? What would pull you into Patreon? What would you like to get out of this? Do we want to do another Knitting 101 class? Should we up the ante on that? Do we want to go to the next step? Where's everybody at? I guess that's my question. Where's everybody at in the Stitch and Witch world, in that meetup of spirituality and creativity? Where are we? So give me your feedback. Either comments here, or if if you come across this because I've posted it on social media somewhere, comments there, great. Or if you want to contact me more privately, stitchandwitchpod@gmail.com. Just give me your feedback. Let me know. Do you just want pictures of my dog? She's very comfortable right now. Anyway, that's all I have today. That's my little knit and chat, which had nothing to do with knitting and everything to do with chatting today. But I'll talk to you soon, and don't forget to craft outside the circle.